A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a world increasingly polarized between democracy and autocracy, the ongoing conflict in Ukraine has emerged as a pivotal battleground, not just for territorial disputes, but for the very essence of democratic governance. Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine is not merely a quest for land. It is a direct assault on the principles of democracy that Ukraine represents. This reality seems to elude many, including prominent figures like Donald Trump, who may view the situation through a lens clouded by real estate and business interests rather than the broader implications for democratic values. The crux of the matter lies in Putin's fear that a successful, democratic Ukraine could inspire the Russian populace to seek similar freedoms, thereby threatening his autocratic regime. The stakes are high, and the implications of this conflict extend far beyond the borders of Ukraine. Recent discussions surrounding the Alaska summit between Trump and Putin have highlighted the need for a deeper understanding of the motivations driving the Kremlin's actions. Contrary to popular belief, Putin's aggression is not fueled by concerns over NATO expansion or the desire to liberate Ukrainians from their current leadership. Instead, it is rooted in a desire to crush Ukraine's democratic aspirations, which he perceives as a direct challenge to his authority. The narrative that Putin invaded Ukraine to counter NATO's influence is misleading, as the alliance's unanimous consent is required for any new member, and Ukraine's membership is not on the immediate horizon. In fact, the invasion has inadvertently strengthened NATO, prompting countries like Sweden and Finland to seek membership and encouraging existing members to bolster their defense spending. Putin's claims that he seeks to liberate Ukraine from its illegitimate leadership are equally unfounded. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was elected through a democratic process, while Putin has resorted to imprisoning and silencing his opponents. The irony is palpable. A leader who has stifled dissent in his own country seeks to undermine a democratically elected government in Ukraine. Furthermore, the notion that Putin longs for a return to Soviet-era dominance overlooks the reality that his actions are motivated by a desire to maintain control over Ukraine as a vassal state, rather than a genuine interest in resurrecting the Soviet Union. The Euromaidan protests of 2013-14, which led to the ousting of pro-Russian President Viktor Yanukovych, marked a significant turning point in Ukraine's pursuit of closer ties with the European Union. In response, Putin annexed Crimea and instigated conflict in the Donbass region, demonstrating his determination to thwart Ukraine's democratic trajectory. Today, his demands for territorial concessions and disarmament are not just strategic moves. They are attempts to reassert control over a nation that has dared to embrace democracy. The parallels drawn between Putin's demands and the appeasement policies of the past are concerning. History teaches us that yielding to such demands can lead to further aggression, as seen in the prelude to World War II. The idea that Ukraine should hand over significant portions of its territory or disarm in exchange for a ceasefire is fraught with danger. Such concessions would not only undermine Ukraine's sovereignty, but also pave the way for renewed Russian aggression in the future. Security guarantees are essential for Ukraine, yet the Kremlin's insistence on having a say in these guarantees raises serious questions about Putin's intentions. As the conflict continues, the role of international leaders, particularly Trump, becomes increasingly critical. Trump's previous threats of severe consequences if Putin failed to agree to a ceasefire were quickly overshadowed by his willingness to engage in dialogue without holding Putin accountable. To effectively address the situation, Trump must take concrete actions that alter the calculus of the Kremlin. This could include increasing military support for Ukraine, imposing stricter sanctions on Russian energy exports, and rallying European allies to commit to Ukraine's defense. The reality is that the future of Ukraine, and by extension, the future of democracy in the region, hangs in the balance. European leaders must play a vital role in guiding Trump towards a more principled approach that prioritizes the defense of democratic values over personal diplomacy. It is imperative that they encourage him to recognize that the fight for Ukraine's democracy is a fight for the future of democratic governance in Europe and beyond. The steps required to achieve peace may be counterintuitive for Trump, but they are necessary if he hopes to bring an end to the violence and suffering that has plagued Ukraine. In conclusion, the conflict in Ukraine is not merely a geopolitical struggle. It is a defining moment for democracy in the 21st century. The world must rally to support Ukraine in its quest for democratic governance, recognizing that the implications of this conflict extend far beyond its borders. The fight for Ukraine's democracy is a fight for the future of democratic ideals globally, and it is a fight that must be won. As we navigate these turbulent waters, it is crucial that leaders prioritize the values that underpin our societies and work together to forge a path towards lasting peace and stability. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.